Hello and welcome to Dan Talks United. It's international break. Boo, boring. But anyway, we need to continue having our discussions in the community. So it's tier list and we're going to rate the signings under Amorim so far. So that also includes Patrick Dorgu, who came in from the summer. So it's not just about the summer, it's all the signings that have been made since Amorim walked through the door. So, in terms of rating or doing the tier list, it's going to range from elite right down to flop. So, stay tuned to see if anybody drops into elite or if anybody's in the flop category. I also want to see or hear from yourselves about where do you think people should fit? What's your thoughts? I might not have it all right, it's just my opinion. If you agree, please let me know. And if you disagree, please tell me what you would have done instead. And then we can discuss this in future videos. Also, I plan to do this again towards the end of the season, just to see where we fare and just to see if any players move around or change from which tier list that we've put them in today. So let's get kicked off. Starting off with Amorim's first signing through the door. So was that back in January? We had Dorgu coming through the door. And he's playing at left wing back. So for me, has had a decent start to his Manchester United career. Still only young, still developing. I do feel that a lot of us wanted him to get Cunha from Sporting, one of the players that he's had at Sporting. Although I do believe he plays on the other side anyway. But just to have that mould of knowing how to play that role. So what I will say about Dorgu is I do feel that he is getting up and down the pitch, and I think he is doing that side of the game. I could do with seeing a bit more from him though going forward. So I want to see him beat a man on more occurrences. I want to see him cross the ball more and looking for a target man. Defensively, I think he's okay. I think he does all right defensively. I just need to see him do a little bit more and sort of develop a bit more in the system and in the role, and just start to have a bit of a partnership like we're starting to see on the other side of the pitch. So I think just needs a bit more time, and that is the area or the tier that I'll be putting Dorgu in, is average, needs more time. So if you agree with that, please let me know in the comments. And if you disagree and feel he should be anywhere else in the tier list, also put that in the comments. León, not going to spend too much time on León. Again, identified before the summer but came in the summer due to age. Still relatively young, 18 I think he is. Also plays in that sort of Dorgu role. Hasn't really played much for Manchester United other than in the tour. Still yet to see much from him, so it's very hard to put him in a tier list. So not really any fault of his own, but I will be putting León in the poor category, unfortunately, and that's purely because we haven't really seen him, he hasn't really played, although I feel that there's a player in there. He's got the level of tenacity that I like, that South American grit, and hopefully we'll see that in the future. Right, so moving on to the next one, Matheus Cunha. So coming through the door on that release clause around that 62.5 million mark, I feel he's had a good start to his Manchester United career in terms of like the first sort of 2 or 3 games. I felt he had a good game against Arsenal in that first game. I think we start to see what Cunha is all about in terms of being able to pick that ball up from deep and drive the ball forward. And we've not really had that from any of our players, where we can have a player that can actually pick the ball up and say, give me that ball, and just drive forward and just eat up the ground. And you do start to see the other team's defences retreating or not knowing what to do, whether to come and try and get the ball off him or give him space. So that's really effective, and we've started to see that. What we're lacking though for me is the goals and the assists. So when we start getting that, it would definitely move up the tiers for me. But for now, and for what I've seen, and the fact that I felt he dipped a little bit after his injury, I'm going to put him in the average and needs more time category. So that's Matheus Cunha. Next one on the list is Bryan Mbeumo. Now I feel he's also had a good start to his Manchester United career, very similar to Cunha in the first few games. He's now starting to find his feet a little bit and he's starting to link up well with Ahmad. He's scored a couple of goals, he's made a few assists, so he's doing really well on the output front. I also feel that he's doing well in terms of understanding the system, being in the right places, working really hard. So for a player that's got the skills he has, he's also matching that with his work rate, so that's really good as well. So for that reason, I'm putting Bryan Mbeumo in the good signing category. Now I could have possibly put him in elite, but the only thing for me with elite is high bracket in regards to a player that comes in and changes the dynamic for the good reasons. Game changer, winners games, putting Manchester United on their backs and changing the way that we look. I don't quite think he's doing that yet, but not far off potentially. So for now, he goes into good signing for now. Benjamin Šeško, the big Slovenian, number 9. Again, came through the door in Manchester United sort of terms relatively early to a certain extent. However, was training on his own, missed the tour in that sense. Could have potentially started the season, but probably wasn't quite fit enough. Didn't really get his first start until Grimsby, that game, which we'll not go into. Start-wise, a bit slow at first, like I say, trying to get his fitness up. I think he's just now starting to get his fitness there and his understanding with his teammates. He's scored a couple of goals, and both goals, may I add, are number 9 goals. They're sniffer goals, they are in-the-box type goals. They're the sort of goals that you want from your number 9, where other players on the team or in the pitch won't score those type of goals. He sniffed out the chances and he scored them. Now, don't mind his back catalogue of bangers. I'd like to see 1 or 2 of them now and again. Don't get me wrong. But what I want to see from a number 9 is delivered in that aspect so far. Obviously want more from him because we want as many goals as possible. And I'm not saying that he's going to be breaking records or anything, but yeah, I think there's more to come from him. I think he said it himself, if that's what he meant anyway, that he's got more to come because of age and development, but also he's not quite where he was at his last club. So we've also got that to come as well, hopefully. So putting all that together, I'm going to put him in good signing. Obviously not elite, and I don't feel that he should drop lower than good signing personally for what he's done so far. And again, just to add, he's doing the other side of the 9 role where you can lump the ball up to him and he can either trap it, get it on the ground and pass it off, or he's headering it on, he's flicking it on so that players like Mbeumo can run on behind and on beyond and run into space. And then that link up is slowly starting to happen, so that's really good as well. So that is the big Slovenian Šeško. And last, and no means least, is the big Belgian Senne Lammens. So the successor to Courtois, potentially, for Belgium. Has looked good in that 1 game that we've seen him so far. And obviously the bar is very low, and which has led us to celebrate and eulogise of the fact that he's caught the ball. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, he caught the ball. Now, it is a simple task for a keeper, and it is a routine task for a keeper. It is bread and butter. However, our 2 stooges, ManUtd and Onana, have failed to do that competently and confidently. And I also feel that Senne Lammens sort of breathed that sigh of relief and breathed that air of, I'm a goalkeeper. I've got this. chill out, and the defence seemed calmer. He did odd things, not odd things, but he did the odd things like when the time was getting towards that sort of 90-minute mark, he'd grab hold of the ball in the area and he'd just go down and just lay on the ball for a few seconds just to take the sting out of things, just to calm things down and slow things down a little bit. These are the little minute details that players of experience do, just to take the sting out of the game and calm everybody down, let everybody reset. And again, the simple thing of just the ball comes into the box, he jumps, he catches it, and why should he not? He's tall anyway. When you can use your hands in the box as a goalkeeper, you're going to be much higher than anybody trying to jump for it. So when your hands are in the air, you should be catching that ball. You should be higher than everybody else. Now, obviously, you're going to get challenged with people barging into you, stuff like that. But you want to see a confident keeper shout and say, mine. And I feel, don't know what he was saying to the defence, but he was definitely shouting at the defence as well. And that's really good for his first game, to say his age and the fact that he's playing for a big entity such as Manchester United, and he's absolutely screaming at the back line, and I like to see that. And it has also led to the fans in the ground shouting, "Are you Schmeichel in disguise?" Now, I'm not going to get carried away and start saying he's the next Schmeichel or even the next De Gea or the next Van der Sar, but I can only hope he's got a blend of all of them and he puts it together in the best way possible. Because Lammens caught the ball, I'm putting him into the elite category. Only joking. I'm going to put him into the good signing category. I think he's done really well, as I was saying earlier, so I think he deserves to go into the good signing category, and hopefully he will excel into elite down the line. So guys, as I was saying earlier in the video, please put your comments below. Please tell me what you think. Please tell me if you feel I'm way off the mark. You've noticed that nobody dropped into flop, but also nobody went into elite. Now, for fun, I could have put Lammens in elite, because I think a lot of people out there probably feel that he deserves to be in elite with just that one game he's played. But for me, the closest to elite was Mbeumo, but I still feel that we need a bit more from him before he can go into elite. We will do this again, by the way, towards the end of the season, just to see how our signings have fared across the full season and see if anybody's dropped down even. People might have dropped down when you look at the whole season, and people might have gone up, depending on how they've performed. So let's hope, I don't expect all of them to be in elite, but let's hope Lammens is in elite, and let's hope that Šeško and Mbeumo creep in there as well. Don't get me wrong, love Cunha to be in there too, but to try and get, sort of 3 or 4 out of 5, fantastic to get them all in elite. It would mean that we may have done well in the season, but let's not tempt fate. So, like I say, put your comments in below. That's the tier list. Just as a recap, we've got, in good signing, we've got Mbeumo, we've got Lammens. In average and needs more time, we've got Cunha, we've got Dorgu in there. And then in regards to poor, unfortunately, we've got Diego León. And like I said earlier, that's purely down to he's not had that much opportunity to show his skills. So, thank you again for watching Dan Talks United. Please subscribe to the channel, because that helps new channels such as ours grow and do the things that we need to do in terms of going live and stuff like that. It's the road to 50, ladies and gentlemen, because we're on 40 at the moment, subscribers, so thank you to those that have subscribed so far. If you're enjoying the content and you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? It's a growing community and it's only going to get better. So again, thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.